It
Welcome
does.
back to another Digital Cheesecake podcast with Ntola, Sarah, myself, and Ellie. Welcome, everybody. If it's the first time, like always, if it's the first time you're listening to this podcast, watching us, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, give us a share, tell all your friends and family. Today, we've got the fantastic Ntola with us. I was hoping you could give us a bit of an intro, rundown of your background, Ntola, and what
Of
you're up to at the
course.
moment.
Yeah, so I always live in threes. I'm a commercial digital leader who's built brands globally, locally. I thrive in the digital and tech space, but also all things commercial. So I've done things from fashion, lifestyle, sports, wide, and currently looking for my next role, but a founder of a premium activewear brand. So that's a startup called Booksy for fuller bust women. And I consult for anyone who's looking for ways to grow into new markets and just maybe restructure and things like that. So, and also a podcast host of the Trailblazer Experience. So, yeah, doing quite a lot of things, juggling quite a few plates at the minute.
Loads.
And tell us about Booksy, because when we've been catching up in the last few weeks, we've not really been talking about Booksy. So I want to
No,
know
we
more.
have
I want
not.
to know more. What can you say?
Yes.
Because it's not launched yet.
No, it's not launched yet. But the reason why I hadn't said much before is because it was all in that startup phase. So in the sporting industry, which is, billions of dollars worth, all the brands cater, or rather fail to cater to fuller bust women. So fuller bust, smaller flame. So what I'm looking at is positioning myself with sports tops, sports bras, just for women to look sexy, look bold, feel confident in the design. And it's for women who run, who lift, who are into hybrid athletes, who flow in terms of Pilates. I'm really excited about that. So we're in the infancy stage in terms of I've launched the wait list. So sign up to the wait list on wearebooksy.com, where you're going to receive newsletters weekly, just talking about all things health and wellness. And the intent is to do a work in drops in terms of a curated collection to launch soon. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And I want to be a community-led brand. We're going to talk about brands, I think, as well. Community-led, building with a customer in mind. And I think that's really important at this stage.
I was very excited when Jack told me about the big bus. Although I'm a little bus kind of gal, I am now pregnant and my boobs are getting enormous. Sorry,
This
Jack.
is what I'm saying. So usually there are four types of customers. Those who are born with fuller bust, those who bought and paid for them, and those who through life events such as yours suddenly got some as well. So yeah.
Will you cater to pregnant women, do you think, eventually? Because I'm struggling on the front. I'm struggling to find anything good.
Yeah, I think, it's progression, isn't it? In terms of, let me do this product really well. Yeah. And let's get that right. And then there's so many extensions. I mean, it's endless in terms of what the brand can be. So I'm really excited to look at that. Yeah.
I'm not a professional in this area, but with so someone whose boobs are growing, and it's obviously with a lot of the products are elasticated, can you buy something which
goes up and down?
Yeah.
Up and down. Oh, that's an idea.
No,
that's
unfortunately not, Jack. Yeah. What usually happens is your bust size changes. You have to then invest in different types of bras. And statistically, we know about 80% of women don't even know what their bra and bra top size are. So they're probably wearing the wrong tops as well. So yeah, you end up just shopping for more, Jack. That's what happens.
Literally.
Did you always think this idea? Did you always want to run with this idea? Do you have it always in the background, or is it more that you wanted to do a product? You did? Okay.
Yeah, I'm always. So I'm a fuller bust woman myself as well. You can't see it on screen, but I am. So I'm solving a problem that I actually have. I've always been into sports. So it's really stemmed from that as well. Now, you could say I should have actually started an AI startup. That probably would have had more traction, gotten more investment, but people still really need good product out there. And we know statistically as well that it's a market that is posed to people are investing more in experiences. People are investing more in sports. We see it with all the brands that are now on the high street that are doing really well, whether it's the Gymsharks, the Represents, the Talas. We know that people are moving in the direction of focusing on their health and what they're wearing. So, yeah.
Love that.
We're speaking to a lot of owners who've actually worked agency side or worked brand side and come through the marketing digital piece. So for those who don't know pre-Booksy what you've done, I know you've worked at Emma Bridgewater for 6 years and grew that internationally. So for those who are listening and meeting you for the first time, could you give us an idea of what you've done brand side, from a digital perspective,
Of
growing
course.
global brands?
Yeah, so I've been very proud. So in my last role, actually, I was in the wine, spirits, and beer industry. If you know Bulmers, Nents, and then working with Diageo, Moët Chandon, and wine merchants in terms of amplifying the customer experience from a B2B perspective online. So when someone wants to purchase for their pub or for their restaurant, helping that customer experience online. And then you mentioned Emma Bridgewater, which really proud of, founder-led brand, heritage. It was really all about positioning themselves in terms of what does that customer experience look like online, in terms of talking about the brand, talking about personalization, and bringing that business as well to the world. So allowing for customers in China to purchase, America as well. And replatforming, that was also a big part of the journey too.
And what's it like launching and growing in China? Because I feel like it's always changing over there.
I think with anything, right? So it was a heritage brand. And I think one thing is when you are scaling into different markets, digitally or not even digitally, offline, is it's about respecting the DNA of the brand, which I think is really important. And how the revenue doubled was blending that tradition with e-commerce and marketplace expansion. And China taught me a lot about you can't just translate a brand, you have to localize, but making sure the success was coming from listening to the customer, understanding how they would be using the product, but also making sure that the USP came forward. So in terms of how the customer experience looked like online, it was of course tailored to that market, but the USP and the heritage of the brand was still what was standing forward. Different market, but they're like 10 years ahead in terms of digital and ecosystem, and the whole adaptation is just brilliant.
And what are they doing in terms of that? What are they 10 years ahead with it? Is like AI, their social media channels?
Yeah, it's how they've managed to establish the ecosystem in terms of having that 360 view. I always use the analogy of here there's, if you want to know from one brand, you have to go into WhatsApp, then you have to go into Instagram, then you have to go into their website, then you have to go into Facebook. Whereas there, it's all integrated into one platform. There's gamification, there is live shopping, Douyin, which is TikTok here, is going on, and then you can go on the website. It's all interconnected. Even when you go into stores, the stores are positioned to be experiences, and you can purchase, but they'll have it delivered to your house in the next 10 minutes, that kind of connecting that whole dot. And I think that's something that we're moving towards in terms of experiences in store, in terms of allowing the store staff to see what's happening online from your account perspective, but it's still not a 360 ecosystem, which China has managed to master.
And the Chinese market, like a lot of premium English brands, so do you think it was easy because Emma Bridgewater is that English heritage brand to launch in China?
Yeah, I would say yes and no. So yes, in terms of made in England, established in England, but there's so many other brands that did really well. So there was Current Body, which, it's not really about heritage. It was about, the health tech that was involved. Brands such as Nike are repositioning themselves there. So them, it was about innovation and different SKUs and tailoring to that market. So 3 ways to succeed in China. Yes, if you make and manufacture your product in your own country, that is even better from that heritage perspective. But if you have great technology and you can solve the problems for that customer base, that's also another thing. But if you're quick to innovate and to pivot and to bring new products to market, that'll also help you accelerate as well. And then just embracing digital in a whole different type of way.
And with Booksy, are you manufacturing the product in China, UK, somewhere else?
I mean, I wish I could say UK, but unfortunately too expensive, not viable. I'm looking at the Far East and also looking at some production in Portugal and Turkey as well. But I've gone where the experts are in terms of activewear, in terms of the developments there, which is really important. The brand is about, first and foremost, providing product that's, built to support and styled to lead in terms of the design. And that's the most important thing for me.
I like that. And you mentioned as well, because we've had quite a few people talk about bringing the in-store experience online. So how do you feel it's best to do that? Because you mentioned the in-store experience and then also the experience online. How would you suggest for people to bring that online?
Yeah, I think what's been really important. I think what was a good example that I saw was, it was a few years ago. One of the first stores that did it really well was Zara, actually.
Yeah.
And, I know they're a bigger business and so on, but they've done really substantial developments in terms of their app. So if you place things in your wish list, for example, and you are walking in the King's Road, etc., it will pop up and say, hey, there's a Zara store nearby.
Oh, I like that.
And then two, when you walk into the store, these items on your wish list are available here. Rituals does a similar thing
Mm.
in terms of the members card pops up when you're in the vicinity of the stores and just making it very seamless for you to then shop as well. So those reminders of connecting what's happening on your app or what you've signed up to in terms of in store, I think it is really important as well.
Some good brand examples actually, because I think it's really hard to get that because people still want to go in store, but sometimes, it's a hassle to get into store these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And also if they know, I don't know if it's Full Asylum who does that really well, but I think
Yeah.
guess what they managed to do is with their technology that they had for their app is consolidating understanding when you've signed up, where do you live, what stores are nearby, and the collections that they were showing you on your personalized page were items that were available in that store. I think
I
that is
like that.
brilliant because it means by the time
Yeah.
you go there, or if you do actually want a quick delivery next day, etc., you're ordering things that are actually available. I think the worst part of when you enter
Yeah.
a store and they tell you, yeah, we don't
Sold out.
have it, you can order
Yeah.
online, but you've
Yeah.
made the way there. Or if
Yeah.
you're online and you need it for next day and you don't really sometimes
Yeah.
want to be going to the Amazons, you actually want to support the store itself. So I think just making sure that personalization is understanding what my needs are, what do I need as a customer, curating that for me when I start that customer journey, but also, what are those important checkpoints in terms of how quickly can I get the product is a very big part as well. Because otherwise you end up going to a competitor. That's what usually happens.
Yes, 100%. I think definitely as a consumer as well, because what I love about your background is it's very strong in retail. I'm from retail as well. And I think a big thing just as a consumer is knowing that customer service can really break or make a brand. So how do you feel that, especially in the world of AI, where you're just talking to a bot on every single website, how do you feel that brands can really get their customer service right? So I feel
I
like that
think
is critical.
Yeah, I think we need to remember that, how can we replicate human touch digitally? So I've talked about personalized recommendations. Obviously, there's live chat, loyalty. Live chat from a bot perspective should only kick in when it's tackling frequently asked questions,
Right.
where's my
Yeah.
order and things like that, Wismo, which is as it's known. But I think when you want to then segment your customers in a way that once it escalates to a different type of question, that CRM insights and the service team should have that information so that when it says, I do now want to speak to Ellie, my personalized, my customer service advisor, you've been
Yeah.
escalated.
Yeah.
And then you can say, right, so Ntola, I've seen that you've been looking for this product, you purchased this and this. That experience comes in and I'm like, oh my God, I feel seen and heard. I've managed to use the bot for all the other things, but now when it comes to things that matter, because I might be a VIP customer, I might be in your loyalty program, that then connects the two together. I think that's really important.
I think there's brands that
Yeah.
do it really
Perfect.
well, and then there's some that really, like, forget how detrimental it is, that if you don't do it well and you just turn a bot on your website
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
affects the customer experience. Like, EasyJet really annoys me. I don't think they're priding themselves on, like, a bot, like, specifically. If
You've
Yeah.
had
they
an issue with
like, "Yeah,
EasyJet
use
recently,
our
haven't you?
service," I've got
Is this
I
personal?
this is personal, but, like, if you've got a bot, right, then if someone wants to talk to them, then it's just not like the constant same response. It needs to be, I think we were talking about this in the last chat, is like anything you do it well or don't do it at
Yes.
all kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
I'm
think,
of the same vein. Is if you're going to
yeah.
focus on three, I always like to work in threes, three
Mm.
improvements on your website, do it well, do it excellently, if that's even a word, but do it to perfection so that you are known for that as well. But do you know there's some brands, the whole idea is they make it as clunky because they don't want you to cancel the order or cancel subscription. They make it very difficult. I
Oh,
don't want to
That
name
is
leave.
I don't want to
that
name
Yeah.
names.
that grinds my gears. And then it's like log in with your password and you're like, we don't know our password. Don't log in to
Yeah,
unsubscribe. I think that's just like, yeah, there's just, you've got to be
It's
really
cheeky.
customers, definitely. I love it
yeah.
when one's like, they'll just make it easy for me, but then they're really personal about it. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to leave. I'm going to
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. I
reinsubscribe.
think, the stats do show that if you make it easy for that, that customer, less clicks, is what I always
Yeah.
say in terms of the customer
Less
journey is really important. And before you introduce anything that has a live chat or is AI enabled or automated, you need to clean your shit up in the back end, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's rubbish in, rubbish out. So you need to sort out your segments. You need to sort out your flows. You need to understand what it is you're saying and all those touch points. And then it will make such a very big difference.
How many clicks do people want to aim for usually? So e-commerce marketeers,
Oh,
what
Oh
does
my
good look
God.
like? Is it 4 clicks, 7 clicks?
I mean, Jack, it's little
But
as
that is too
possible,
many
right? But
clicks.
that's
Is
too
that too many
many.
clicks?
No, that is too many. You always sort of think when you go onto a brand site, so you can do the exercise for yourself. So you go onto the page, you click onto the product that you want, all the information on the PDP, PLP should be
Done.
there. And then you should be able to check out quickly as well. You should be able to, if your payment methods, whether it's Apple Pay, it should all be seamless. Everything should be as seamless as
Correct.
possible. I don't like
One, two,
websites where
three.
at checkout, if you want to go back and add something, you lose everything in your checkout. You know, that's
Yeah, I
not
hate
great as
that.
well.
That is
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I hate that.
worst.
Yeah. Or if you do, like you said, if you do want to pay and you don't want to sign in, they don't need to make it as complicated. Sometimes you want to check out as a guest, and that's not a bad thing. You can always send
Yeah.
a follow-up email afterwards. You know, that's fine. But yeah, the less clicks, the better.
4, I think, is ideal, right? Like, if you can do
Yeah.
it in 4, it's amazing. But I was
Yeah.
on Very yesterday. I really wanted this Meg toaster and the set, and they're selling the discount, but I can't go through unless I remember my password. And I'm like, you've lost me. I tried so many times to get my password, and like, just let me check out as a guest. Just let me do it.
Yeah. I like, Ellie, how you just throw, you know, brands. I don't want to say under the bus. I
So
have, but you're like, this
Why
is what
calling
you're
them out?
doing, and this is why.
I want them to know it's such an easy fix, guys. This is great. Use the tip. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Whereas
I
I
do.
just message them. I just say, hey, mate, this is what I take a screen grab and then I send it to my
It's
colleague who
very
works
bad
there.
Australian behavior. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was going to ask as well, because I suppose you've seen online retail really evolve throughout your career. So what do you think is the best way that retail brands can gain that longevity as well? Because that, I think, some brands can struggle with, and it's a shame to see brands sort of come and go, and you really just want the brands that will just stay and kind of grow with you almost as well.
Yeah. So I'm in 3 mindsets about this. I think there are some brands that just have to disappear and, you know, they've gone and that was it because they never
Mm.
move with their customer. They never evolved with the different journeys that the customer was going on, and they just missed the plot completely. So RIP to them.
Yeah.
But there's
Fair.
some that are heritage brands that have managed to reinvent themselves. So I always use the Adidas. You know, they had Yeezy, who they positioned themselves around celeb, and then obviously it went downhill.
Yeah.
But they made a lot of money out of that. But then they came out of that hole by saying, okay, what are our core SKUs that we're known for? And let's just amplify this. So with the Zamba gazelles that are now in different colors,
Yeah.
collaborations, they went back to basics to reposition themselves among an older, younger customer as well. And Nike is doing the same as well in terms of they're focusing on, I mean, I've never seen so many trainers in so many different colors in my life.
Yeah.
But they're repositioning themselves as community-led, hosting runs, having mass
Yes.
advertisement, talking about, you know, chafing and things like that you go through, which I think is really great. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
I love brands that are coming up that are community-led. So whether it's Represent, that are just building on storytelling, and they started off with T-shirts, and now they're moving into the different areas and just being that customer led as well. I find that very exciting that they're growing with their consumer in mind.
Yeah, I love that take. That's a good way of looking at it, is that some brands just need to have their day, and then if they don't grow with the customer, I think that's a really good point, actually.
What
It was
channels?
such a shame with Topshop, wasn't it? Topshop, Top Mum. They should still be. I know they're
They're coming
relaunching.
back, you know. We're pumped for
I know,
that.
but they should never have gone anywhere. You know,
Yeah, but they obviously someone effed the business. Sorry,
Yeah.
not throwing them under the bus again. But
Mr. Green,
someone did
Mr.
something.
Green. He wasn't bothered about digital, was he?
No.
It wasn't exactly. He didn't think about digital.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I used to love
But
that
then-
Topshop store,
Oh.
which is now
You
IQ.
know, also that main, so I didn't grow up in the UK, but I did know traveling to the UK and going on to the main high street. What was interesting
Yeah.
about Topshop is you'd go in. I remember the independents that were all in
Yes.
there. That
I love those
creative area as
independents.
well. And also they were the first ones to launch Beyonce's activewear brand, funny enough,
Oh,
Ivy
cool.
Park.
How's
It
that
was
still
all-
going? It's still
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know that Topshop were the first to launch it though, so that's interesting.
So it's exclusive collaborations. So it'll be interesting really to see what Moses is doing with Topshop and repositioning itself with whoever he thinks that consumer is at the moment. Yeah.
There'll be so much love for that brand when it comes back, I think. Like,
It's
you know,
so
it'll be
nostalgic for people like growing up in the UK and stuff because people used to meet at the big top shop and all that kind of stuff, which is now an IKEA. But
I just
I
don't
don't know
wanna
how
go
that's working.
I don't wanna go in there
Yeah.
because Topshop. I wanna buy lipstick.
Go into the Space NK store. Have you been in there? Oh my God.
Not
No.
yet. I'm
It's so
excited.
amazing.
Is
And
it?
the tech team have just done an amazing job because they've launched an app as well, finally. I mean, it's
Love
brilliant.
that.
Just in terms of you walk in, it's Instagrammable, it's, TikTokable, and
Yeah.
they've got obviously the bread and butter brands there, but they've got like good, bringing in newness into there, which I think is what the high street needed. And then if you can go into an IKEA and get yourself a little bag to carry everything back.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Those blue
literally.
bags are so sturdy, though.
They
Yeah,
are great.
They
brilliant.
last through
Yeah.
anything.
If a nuclear bomb went off, it would be them and what are they called? What are
The
those other stuff?
Stanley mugs.
Yeah.
They
Stanley
would
mugs.
survive.
They're the only things
Yeah.
that would literally stay around.
I know,
I
it's
feel
so
like
true.
that Nike store is always under construction on the corner there. It's like literally been.
It is.
It is. Anyway, sorry.
I
Side
have a
note.
feeling they're doing a whole. So I think tomorrow, which I failed to sign up for, they're doing Nike. It's a night run. It's indoor at the Excel.
Oh, wow. That's a
Crazy.
cool
and
idea.
it's surrounded around women and a whole
That's
event.
cool.
They're repositioning themselves. It'll be interesting to see what their store is. Because remember, when they
Yeah.
opened, in terms from a digital perspective, it was the first store where you walked in and there was a queue at the till and the guy walks on and says, "Oh, no, you can pay here." And he's got like a fancy gadget and you
Yeah.
can pay and walk out. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they had all the, the interactions with DJs and all that stuff.
So cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do now.
I'm interested, about going back to your brand that you're wanting to build. So some of the clients, and again, I never do intro about myself, but work with other brands. But some of the clients are working on to get in the mum prenatal space, all this kind of stuff, and they're really wondering where they should start in, what areas, what kind of channels are you really keen to get going in once, like, you kick it off. What are you wanting to do?
Yeah, so I've been obviously it's going to be D2C led because I think that's
Yep.
the first place to start. I'm very interested in partnerships and collaborations that allow me to have the customers touch and feel the brands. It could, not in terms of pop-ups, but pop-ups that are, within the gym space or within the cycling space, or coffee shops as well. There's some coffee shops that then are selling product as well because I feel that is where the community is gathering, whether it's for run clubs or Pilates, etc. And then from a marketing perspective, I mean, I am hoping organic at the moment is my friend because I know
we
as
love
many
sugar.
organic customers I can gather in terms of that lifetime value, it'll just be better for me. TikTok's been very interesting. So I've started posting on TikTok and sharing my founder journey as a
Be
start.
interesting.
I like that.
And I don't know if it's Meta and Instagram, and there's a lot of shadow banning going on Instagram where certain accounts are being suppressed. If I post
Yeah.
something on TikTok, it has a bigger impact in terms of reach, etc., than when I post something on Instagram. So which is very
Totally,
interesting. So I
right?
think Instagram for me, Meta will be about curated editorial content, sort
Yep.
of like the face of the brand. And then TikTok will be more about the journey and so on. But interacting and building that community with as many people as possible is the way forward. I think YouTube, in terms of
Very
if
interesting.
you're from the long term and storytelling,
So
is
like
one of the
vlogs,
best
things like
channels.
that.
Yeah, because you are forced to sit down and pay attention when you're watching something on YouTube. And that is a very good way of telling the long form story of, the factory visits or this and that or events that you have, because people actually sit down and say, okay, I'm going to actually watch this, while I'm having my dinner or lunch or etc. And optimizing for that, I think, is really important. And the return on investment long term is much better. So I would always advise, I'm taking my own advice as well. TikTok for getting that reach, engagement, Instagram for editorial content, and YouTube for that long format storytelling, I think is key.
Because YouTube, I feel like it's overtaken TV.
Oh,
We
yeah.
always watch YouTube and just put it on, and I think that's on. You think as Netflix, sort of running out of ideas a bit,
We
and
do that every Monday, don't we? We watch the
We
Shits
just
and
love
Gigs
it.
podcast every Monday.
yeah, love them.
I love that.
Absolutely
I
great,
know.
So
those
fun, you
guys.
still watch that.
Well, you
Yeah,
have
every
to
Monday.
Oh, I
laugh.
watch that. I
You
think
have to
every
laugh at the
Monday.
end of the day. Yeah,
That is so
Monday and
funny.
Wednesday.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, I have. So you're gonna find me so boring. So my favorite podcast, I watch Aspire by Emma Bridgewater. So she's talking to entrepreneurs.
Yes, I like
And
that one.
Digital
then
cheesecake,
I
obviously.
watch
Obviously.
also a few American comedians as well. It's just so you just need that thing that you can switch off with, isn't it?
100%.
Oh,
I think
Yeah,
that's
you have
it.
to.
Yeah, and then there's one interesting vlogger, Madame Joyce. She's hilarious, but she's proper Gen
Yes.
Z, very funny as
Yeah.
well. And then I also sometimes it can be funny, sometimes it's not funny. It's called What Now by Trevor Noah. That's really good as well.
but yeah, I know that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
he is
it
good. He
gets you
can.
thinking, but then you
He
have
does.
long moments of laughter in
Yeah.
between.
I know. I could
So-
actually. There's so many. You guys don't want to hear mine.
I
Like,
know. I was
embarrassing.
thinking
Go
it's
on.
just like
Interesting
Go on.
bobbies and like I just love watching weird shows.
the
But
weird
anyway,
ones.
don't go into it because I'll go into a rabbit hole. Also around the content side, right? Like you said, you started to do founder-led things about your stories. But obviously, I mean, going, about the whole bus piece and getting women, like a lot of people when they start the business, it's like, how do they get people to get content? Like I guess
Yeah.
for you, what are you thinking about with your community?
So definitely, so initial samples that I've ordered, they will go to actual women with fuller busts for them to test the product and tell me like it is. I think it's going to be really important. And then when I do the first pre-orders as well, I will be picking and packing and signing and writing every email. And I want to know the feedback. I want them to come back to me and say, this is what happened when I bought it. So if I do need to make any changes with further drops, that would be great. But for larger brands, I think UGC content is so important. I don't know
Totally.
how you shop, but I always type in who has bought this brand, what have they worn it, and then I see how it looks on them if they have a similar figure to me. And that is a deciding factor for me to buy the brand. Model shots just don't do it for me as much. I know there's a bit of
I agree though.
who
UGC.
was it who, I don't know if it's, yes, whoever replatformed the Good American site. So if you can choose the body shape that you want to look at, so you can look at a model that is
Clever.
very curvy.
Unbelievable.
But it's not the same. I still then end up typing
Mm.
that SKU code and going to see someone who's bought it and worn it in situ. So UGC, I think, is so important. People trying on the product, people saying I'm actually this size, but I had to buy a size up. I think that's invaluable, and I think it there must be stats that says it reduces on returns rates and things like that because
Must
you've
be,
done
That's a
all the
good
work.
idea.
Even
Do you
for
do that in
makeup
TikTok?
stuff. Yeah.
Is it TikTok you do that?
You can do that on TikTok, or there, providers out there. There's video-wise, and then you can
Okay.
upload that and link that onto your Shopify site or whatever site you're on, and then that content will be underneath the product as people have bought it to see as well. So it's very good.
Super interesting. Yeah, I like that. I think it's so true because we talk about that all the time where with skincare, okay, I love skincare, but again, yeah, as Ellie said, you don't want to buy something from like someone who's 10 years old, just talking about skincare
There's
and
a
stuff
lot of
like
10
that.
years old doing like tutorial makeups, and I'm
I
like,
know.
what the hell? Anyway,
Makes a
um,
difference.
it makes it even like you get the skin tone stuff, and they show you on their hands like the
Yeah,
skin tone.
exactly. Because
I
maybe
just
you've not
love
been
it.
able to, when Fenty launched, I wasn't able to go into the store to do the color match because there were queues
Yeah, I can imagine.
when they opened. So someone actually just bought the product different and they just put it on there, and then I took a punt and bought it on that basis, which is actually not bad as well. Trini used to do that very well before she expanded her collection of products, where she would be in front of the screen and trying it on and just
True.
I think it builds all these metrics that are so important for brands. It starts with the customer and somebody else trying the product and giving their honest feedback as well.
I think, but I don't know if ever people take like a step back to think it used to be so much simpler, like just for brands so long ago. Like it would just be we'd market a product, they'd go into, everyone would wait and go into store. Whereas now things just get so much easier that we want everything to be such an easy process.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
just like we've got to cater to that, but it is so hard for brands because they're expected to build more teams, to cater to more people, and it's like, you
I
should
think
always
it depends though,
Oh.
I feel that there are some brands where people are willing to wait.
Yeah.
And if you
True.
build your brand that way and saying, look, this is a, great product we've created, there will be
True.
smaller drops, the lead times will be much longer because it takes much longer.
Is that fragrance brand? There's a fragrance brand that does that.
Once
isn't
it's
there?
gone, it's gone. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Not dip tea. I love dip tea. I'll go in. I'll
Dip
want to
tea.
make Yeah, that's my favorite. But like you go in, you take the time, but I don't see it ever on Instagram or TikTok. Like it's kind of like a Chanel handbag in a way. Like you're going for a full experience in that store, you know? I'm not going to look at it TikTok for a $5,000 bag, you know, which is interesting.
Yeah,
But
they
you're
still
right.
haven't done
They can't trade
smell-o-vision.
places.
They still need to do smell-o-vision, don't they? That's the one thing that we haven't managed to crack. So
Are
that
you
you don't have to
sure?
go. So it works,
There's some
it's
pretty
just the
smells out
perfume thing.
there, isn't there? You don't
Oh
want.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, going back to AI, because I know basically everyone has to adopt AI somehow. So, what do you think are the quick wins for retailers to adopt AI, and will you be doing that yourself? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's all about enhancing the human experience, but not replacing it. So really,
Yeah.
for me, I think quick wins are personalization, predictive inventories, forecasting, and then customer service in terms of that. What are the frequently asked questions that can quickly be eliminated or help the customer get to checkout? And then, of course, you still have your customer service team for the top funnel, the VIPs that can get on a call and help you with other things, making life easier, improving that efficiency. Once again, going back to basics, I always think about before the internet, that's how old I am, when you go into a store, isn't it? So you'd walk in, how would we know that we needed to change the shop window or things like it was through talking to the customer. So you'd have the visual merchandisers walk around, or you'd see how many times people would stop at the window. There was like
Yes.
someone actually to count that. So it's those kind of basics, thinking about how do we implement the basics of good customer experience online and to make it easier, and for the teams as well would be great.
And do you think
Right.
AI can capture all that? Because there is talk about there being a bubble in AI at the moment.
I think
What do you
AI
think?
can like everything, but it will definitely come back to efficiencies. I think we got to a state where, I mean, some brands had like 3 or 4 floors of merchandisers, senior merchandisers, and all they were doing were crunching numbers on spreadsheets, which is silly, isn't it? Which you sort of
Mm.
think, actually, if there was a way to automate those processes so they can focus on making sure that they're not buying too much product. So by not buying too much product, then they won't actually have to mark down, then they won't have to actually then go into waste. And all these things that we think about the circular economy can be avoided, and people can focus on things that matter. And then, if you think of trading meetings where we spend a whole day preparing for a trading meeting to create board packs or packs that people won't actually read. I mean, I always used to read it because I love the numbers, and
Yeah.
my team were pulling it together. But it's things like that. If you can make life easy to help us make decisions quicker and not have maybe as many SKUs as we actually think that we need, and just improve that experience for the customer, then why not? So it can be that when the customer does go into the store, it is really about, those touch points and communication, and digitally it just feels great as well.
And a lot of founders that we've been speaking to, whether they have launched a product or yet to launch the product, what they're talking about is getting their product in as many events or roadshows as possible.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
have you thought about that pre-launch, or you can do that after you've launched it? What are you
No, no,
thinking?
no. So there's really, the idea is to launch online with very small, like a pre-launch with SKUs, smaller set of SKUs, just to get a gauge, and then to get as much product in front of people through some community events, some partnerships. I think for me, that's important. The fact that I've got a good substantial amount of subscribers on the wait list. So once again, we're booksy.com. Sign up is great because
Mm.
actually they're opening the newsletters that come every week, which I think has been really good. And it's a good way just to have those conversations with customers as well. I'm really in awe of businesses who are growing through that community-led approach. I think it's the way forward, and it means that you can do things with substance and real clarity.
And with the style of the brand as well, obviously within this sort of area, there's a different brand called Giacomo, which caters for like big guys, like tall guys, extra large, the big like 7-footers. So are you looking to start up at a particular bus size, or are you wanting to make it super stylish so that you are kind of opening it up to other customers with smaller bus sizes, or just want to stay within your lane?
I think I'm solving a problem that's very niche. So I think it's important to stay in the lane and cater for the fuller bust woman. Obviously, if there are smaller sizes and they do fit, when I get the samples, I'll test them from extra small to 2XL and so on. but I think I need to focus on the niche because that's what makes the brand specific. And by solving that problem, and fit and design can tackle other problems as well. I was speaking to a breast cancer survivor who's had 2 mastectomies, and she said, wouldn't it be great if they were tops that would fit us who don't have it all? And I was like, oh my God, that's another niche in itself.
Yeah.
So it's endless, but I need to do one thing well, and then I can expand and tackle the other areas. I think is important.
That's so good. That's
Yeah.
so good. So when does it launch?
Oh my God. Pending. Coming soon. Coming soon. There are a few things that I
This
need
year
to.
or next year?
It'll probably be beginning of Jan, to be realistic. Because we're already, end of November. December is crazy in terms of logistics. So I think starting at the beginning of the year in terms of launching for people to buy is important then, because everyone's on their journey and resolutions and,
Yeah.
have got their Christmas money
Resolution.
to spend. Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
That's that.
Lovely. And Ntola, thank you so much for joining us on the Digital Cheesecake Podcast. Remember, guys, to like, share with all your friends, and follow us on Spotify, on YouTube. See you later.
Thanks,
See
Ntola.
you next time.
Bye.
That was